What's up, boober tubers? Sniffty Dugan here. Back from Tennessee and taking a ride with the boys and the girls. So we got a big group today, probably about 30 bikes. Today I wanted to do Stuck at the Light. Today I wanted to do a video about kind of a recap of Maggie Valley and just all the stuff that we learned and how we did it and everything that's transpired during that trip. Before we get started, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon, and help this sucker out. We'll be back. Well, we just got done eating lunch at some Tex-Mex place over on Lake Apatcon. And remember, this is a Sniffty Dugan video. So you're going to hear the navigation any moment now. Wow, the lake is packed. So this is kind of a cool place, but if you heard me in a couple of my other videos, this lake is packed on the weekends. There's really standing room only. It's fun. A couple of good restaurants on the shoreline. So we figured we'd take some back roads up here and get her done. But today's video is about Maggie Valley and how we made it all happen and put it all together. So basically, we started with a VRBO. Some important information about doing VRBO in the mountains. These guys, the renters, the rentees, or renters, I mean.
In 1,000 feet.
There you go.
Turn right, then turn left.
So the renters will tell you that it's motorcycle friendly. The only problem we had with our house is when we get there, and the driveway is just big enough to hold a compact car. Let alone, there were 4 of us, so 4 bikes. That wouldn't be so bad, but the driveway had a triple pitch, right? So it's angled away from the house, tipped towards the back, right? So the water drains towards the back of the yard and away from the house. There's not a chance in hell you're parking a motorcycle on that driveway. And I was really ticked off that she told me that it was motorcycle friendly. What she meant was that they rent to motorcycle people all the time, which I think is a crock. I don't believe a word out of their mouths. There's no way. There's no way, because the pitch was significant, and we couldn't use the driveway. It was dangerous. I almost dumped my bike as soon as I pulled it in there, because you can't put the kickstand down on an angle like that, right? You're either putting too much weight.
Keep right.
You're either putting too much weight on the kickstand in one direction, or the bike is tipped over too much in the other direction, where it's just going to, dump over. So there's no way that anybody with bikes would even stay there. So my suggestion to you is make sure that the driveway is flat. Ask the question, is the driveway flat? Because this house wasn't. Thankfully, the owners were very responsive, I think because they knew they pulled a fast one on us, and they knew I was really ticked off at this point. Because although it wasn't a hugely expensive house, it was $500 each. For the week, you can't go wrong with that, and there's plenty of hotels in the area, but my guess is that it's going to cost the same. But they didn't have the view we had off the back deck. It was beautiful to be out there. If you guys seen some of the short videos I shared, you'll see just how amazing it really was. So it's worth doing a VRBO, but make sure you ask, is the driveway flat? Because you got X number of motorcycles, is there room? But anyway, going back to the owners being responsive, 2 houses away from ours, they had 3 flat spots, and the 2 houses that guy owned were not being rented for the week we were there, and he gave us permission to use that. So everything worked out in the end. But what if they were being used and rented? That we would have had no place to park our bikes other than the street, and it's in the mountains, so the roads were really, really steep, and there's a lot of gravel and pebbles and stuff on the road, because that was the only problem we encountered. Again, the house was awesome. It was clean. It was a nice log cabin, top of a mountain peak. and the views were spectacular. The first day we were there, we did the Blue Ridge Parkway. Go watch that video. If you've never done the Blue Ridge Parkway, go do it, man. Really. This is probably the single best ride that I've ever done in my life. And that's saying a lot because I've been riding for a while. And I've been out to Sturgis, and that's supposed to be the cat's meow. But the Blue Ridge Parkway for me was one of those holy crap moments. It really was great. So that was fun. It really was just amazing. You have big sweeping turns. You got very few sharp turns on the Blue Ridge Parkway, which is my style. You know, the technical stuff, I'm not really all that much into it. But I'll do it because just to say that I did it, I enjoyed it for a little while. The one thing about that area, though, is by the end of the week, you're ready for a straight road because straight roads don't exist in that whole area. It's all mountaintops and mountain peaks. You're traversing the mountains up, down, sideways, left, right, corkscrews going down, tunnels going through the mountains. It's nuts. It's really nuts, but it's worth it. But by the end of the week, I found myself saying, boy, I wish there was something that I could just set my cruise control on and relax for a day while I'm riding and taking the scenery. And that was the Blue Ridge Parkway. So another recommendation is if you're going to go down to Maggie Valley, do the Blue Ridge Parkway towards the end of the week. I don't know if I'd do it on the weekend because it might be a little more crowded. When we did it on Monday, there was nobody on it. Nobody. It was beautiful. But that was the first ride we did, and that was the most pleasant and the easiest. Everything after that was super technical. We did the Devil's Whip. So that is very similar to the Tail of the Dragon, except it's on mountain peaks, and there's no guardrails, there's nothing. You make a mistake, it's, oh wow, it's multiple hundreds of feet down. They had a lot more hairpin turns, left hairpins, right hairpins. It was really, we didn't know we hit that by accident, so we stopped in a town called Little Switzerland, and that was right off the Blue Ridge Parkway. We were a little hungry. It was around lunchtime, and we needed some gas. Another thing about the Blue Ridge Parkway is if you hear or see a sign that says gas, rather, stop and get gas, because there's maybe 2 places on the whole parkway that you can get off and get gasoline right off the parkway. So do that. So anyway, we seen this little cafe from Little Switzerland, and we decided to stop. I got to tell you, this little place was the best barbecue food, Carolina barbecue too. It was the best food I ever had. The best barbecue I ever had. Homemade barbecue sauce was dynamite, really dynamite. I can't even express enough how awesome this food was. If you're on the Blue Ridge Parkway, go stop there, Little Switzerland. I don't know the name of the cafe. I'll drop it down in the comments below.
I-80 East, New York.
Yes, Siri. Is that Siri? I don't know who that is. That's the Google girl. What's her name? Anyway, stop in this place. It was awesome. So I was talking to the cashier there, and she seen that we were on bikes, and she says, "Are you guys going to do the Rattler?" And I said, "Is it here?" She goes, "You're on it." So that exit for Little Switzerland is 226A, North Carolina, also known as the Rattler. And I just laughed. I said, I was wondering why this road was so crazy. And I knew it had to be something. And she goes, yeah, that's the Rattler. She goes, make a left out of the parking lot and go around. There's a loop. She goes, at the bottom of the loop, you're going to make a left to come back up north. And that's the Devil's Whip. And both of those roads together are fantastic. Just really amazing rides. You got to do those as well. It's all right there. Take the time. It's maybe for the Devil's Whip and 226A, even in lunch, add in lunch, it was maybe 2 hours out of our way, and it was worth every second of it. It was really cool. We kind of pussyfooted around the Devil's Whip because
watch out, vehicle on shoulder ahead.
Not for anything.
Continue straight for 9 minutes to exit 43, I-287, Morristown, Mawa.
He's trying to run me over, girl. So anyway, take your time, go through those. We putted through them because they were so technical And we didn't know we were on those, so we were not prepared to be on that. We were just laughing like, holy shit, who paved this road? So what I think they did in the whole area is they didn't cut new roads from the wagon wheel days. They just basically paved over, 150-year-old trails, and now they call them roads. The same thing with Moonshiner 28. We did that. Moonshiner 28 was it's just south of Cherokee, which is also kind of a cool place to hang out a little bit. That was a pretty cool ride. Some technical, not overly technical in the beginning, but once you got down south of out of near Bryson City, it got a little technical, and it was a fun ride. So we did that one as well. Cherahalla Skyway, that was how do I describe that one? That was like the Blue Ridge Parkway, but a much more technical version of it. A lot of peaks, but nowhere near the peaks and vistas that are on the Blue Ridge Parkway. But it was a fun road nonetheless. So talking about the Cherahalla Skyway, so if you guys seen my Blue Ridge Parkway video or Cherahalla, I don't remember what video. I'm not sure if that footage is even in there because I put my camera equipment away because it was raining so hard. We got caught in a really, really nasty rainstorm. And bring your rain gear. Expect it to rain. The humidity at the top of the mountains, it rains every day. For us, it rained every day, and from all the people I spoke with, they said, yep, it rains all the time up there. Because you got the cool air at the tops of the mountains colliding with the humidity down below and raising, and it just rains. But it rains for 5 or 10 minutes. By the time you get your rain gear on, it's done. So most of the time, it's really not that big of a deal. Well, as we were coming from the tail of the Dragon, we were going to do going southwest to do the Cherahalla Byway, and we seen clouds up ahead. Clouds were crazy. Black clouds. Storm clouds that you don't ignore. And so I basically called out to the guys and said, hey, I think we should probably put our rain gear on. And somebody, shall remain nameless, said, nah, we're going to make a left, we're going to miss it. And literally 2 minutes after he said that, it came down in buckets. And
all right, so this is the current situation. It's fucking raining. And we are hanging out inside someone's fucking barn. Yeah, buddy. It's fucking rain coming down. Monsoon outside. I covered my seat the first thing I did, because tomorrow when we're dry, I won't have a wet ass. I will.
I knew those clouds were going to fuck. See if I can attach some of this footage, because it really is pretty funny. So we're stuck in this barn, as you can see here.
A little wet there, Joey? No, my shit is dry. I got waterproof shoes. Ha ha. I'm on high ground. Look at the fucking flood coming right past. Holy shit, it comes all the way down around this hill.
And it's really coming down. And one of the guys owns that farmland, said it was okay for us to stay there. And we waited for probably about 30 minutes. It started flooding, as you could see in the next video. So I was standing in like 8 inches of water. So I didn't understand the point of staying under there because we got drenched anyway. We were soaking wet when we put our rain gear on, and now my feet are wet because my boots are not waterproof. I never bothered to buy a pair. And they probably won't, just because what the hell, I don't care. Boots will dry out. And we waited it out. We hopped on the bikes after it slowed down a little bit, and we made our way to the Cherahalla. The Cherahalla, being technical, it was a little intimidating because it was wet. Another thing was, that was a really nasty storm that came through there. It was like hurricane force winds. There were down trees, twigs, wet leaves all over the place, and it was kind of dangerous, I have to say, because it's a highway, right? It's one of the only ways to get from east to west in that area, and you're on it, and you're going 50, 60 miles an hour, and all of a sudden you hit this hairpin turn, and there's wet leaves and wet trees, and hell, we even rode under 2 fallen trees that basically I knocked the top of my helmet going under the one. That's how low this tree was. And basically what the Rangers did was they went up, I think it was the sheriff, they went up and they cut enough of it away just so cars can pass under it until the work crews got up there and cleared the trees away. So we went under, I think it was 3 of them, and pretty hairy stuff. Like that bike, bro. So that was a cool road. I appreciated the Blue Ridge Parkway much better. I liked it a lot more than the Cherahalla, and I think it's because just the Cherahalla you couldn't enjoy it just because we had really nasty weather going through there. Tail of the Dragon was a blast. Watch that video. Link will be up above. Really, really fun. We had a blast. So I lost my brakes halfway through. That was interesting. We did 441 going through. We came up from Maggie Valley going north from Cherokee into Gatlinburg. I would say if you're going to do that road, and it's nice, it's got a lot of vistas, a lot of high peaks. Oh, wonderful. Here's the traffic. Gotta love Sundays in New Jersey. A lot of high peaks and stuff. Really nice road. Pretty straight. Not technical. But the closer you get to Gatlinburg, the more cars there are. So, Gatlinburg is a tourist trap. So you got to be careful about hitting that on the weekend. If you hit that on a Saturday or Sunday, you're going to sit in traffic. So my suggestion is you do it midweek. We did it on a Wednesday. We went to the Moonshine Distilleries and hung out there for a few hours, and just experienced a little bit about what Gatlinburg was like. I've been there plenty of times. A couple of the guys have not, so they wanted to go check it out. I got to open my face mask. I'm starting to fry in here. Hopefully you don't get any wind noise. But a great trip overall. Like I said a little earlier, by the end of the week, I couldn't wait for a straight road. I was tired. We rode, it was about 650 miles there and back. This is about 1,300 miles. We put 2,500 miles on during the week, and it's tiring. I'm not going to lie. Wrestling over a 1,000-pound motorcycle with my fat ass on it, it's a lot of work wrestling around some of those turns, and it gets a little tiring. But fun trip nonetheless. You got to do it. Bucket list material. Get out there. Take the trip. You just do it. We saw a lot of sport bikes. Tail of the Dragon was pretty interesting until I lost my brakes. It wasn't that bad, though. I won't say it was overly technical. It gets a much worse reputation than what it deserves. It was easier than what I thought it would be. Wow, this is all for going down south. Holy cow, look at this. People are nuts, man. Boy, I can't stand this state. Oh, the Popo's up there.
Police reported ahead.
Yeah, there you go. Police reported ahead. So anyway, take that trip, like I'm saying. It's not all that expensive. The hotels aren't all that much money. And it's not a very busy area because it's a ski resort area. I'm thinking that there's a lot more people there in the winter. We were right next to one of the ski resorts, one of the lifts going up. People not paying attention, man. So the property that we rented was $1,550 all in. That includes trip insurance, included the cleanup fees, everything, trip insurance, I don't know if I said that. Everything that we needed was included in that price. So very reasonable. It slept 8. There was only 4 of us that went. So if you fill the house to capacity, what are you paying for the week? $300? And another thing to know about down there is there's not a lot of restaurants. The restaurant situation down there is there's no chains, there's no even concept of chains in Maggie Valley. They're all mom and pop restaurants. They are not gourmet by any means. We didn't have a chance to go into a barbecue place, but these were very local places, and I would assume that some of them are good. The Italian place there was trash. Look, I'm Italian, so you got to serve me good Italian food or I'm going to make a comment. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not one of those guys, but all they did was open a can and put oregano in the sauce and poured it over.
Watch out, vehicle on shoulder ahead.
So you need to do better than that if you want to keep my attention. And so it was just mediocre stuff. It was okay. The pizza was okay, but it was a preformed crust. But guess what? It's the only place in town. There's a place called Grandpop's Vittles, I think it was. I know Vittles was in there. And just put it this way. All of these restaurants are closed most of the days during the week. And if they're open, they close at 7 p.m. So if you are going there in June, July, and August, you better know what you're doing for dinner and get to those places by 6 o'clock because they close at 7. So a couple of the nights we ended up going to Waynesville, which is the town next to it, and they had the Publix supermarket. They had some of the fast food chains there, the Chick-fil-A and a couple other places. Star Schmucks was there, a few other places. So it wasn't that bad. The Sagebrush Steakhouse was there. We cooked. We did. We saved a couple of bucks. We went to the supermarket. We bought some burgers, some dogs, some steaks, and a couple other things, bacon and eggs. We made breakfast in the morning instead of wasting time, eating. And we didn't want to rush home by 6 o'clock because we didn't know where we were going to be and how far away from home. I mean, we were Chirahala to Maggie Valley, the furthest point west, is pretty far. It's like 150 miles away, 160 miles from the house. And we went to Asheville and Greenville, South Carolina, not North Carolina, Spartanburg area and South Carolina. We were already as far east as that. So we put a lot of miles in. We were down in Georgia briefly. So you don't know when you're going to get next to food. So if you're one of the picky guys, you really can't be all that picky. Don't expect much because the food situation there is minimal. But there's not really a whole lot of people there in the summer, it seems. At least the week we were there was a lot of bikes, but that's about it. So I'm going to finish this off with, you need to go to Maggie Valley. There's a cool website called MaggieValleyRides.com. The admin of that page also has a Facebook group. The guy's name is Gary. He is one hell of a good dude. I had a couple of questions. I sent it to him on Facebook Messenger, and he sent me his phone number. He goes, dude, call me. So I called him. And what Gary did was he put together a whole assortment of rides and GPX files. So he went out of his way to record all this stuff. In some cases, some of them he made them up. He knows the area very well. And he put these rides together. All you have to do is import the GPX into your navigation, tweak the map if you want to add any stops, and you're ready to rock and roll. I'm telling you, saved me a ton of time. I was spending a lot of time putting maps together, trying to figure out roads we wanted to hit. And when I spoke to Gary on the phone, he goes, if you're here for only a week, here's the rides you got to do. You'll hit all the majors. He even put together a custom route for me to go to the top of the Smoky Mountain, where the lookout was, to go see some elk. Tons and tons of elk in that area. Those things are massive. They were right on the side of the road at Maggie Valley, so that's something cool that you're going to see. But this lookout, we didn't get a chance to do that just because we put on some major miles. And but supposedly that's the place to go for some elk. If I could link to that map, I'll try and do that down below. And I'll also link MaggieValleyRides.com. Great resource, saves you a lot of legwork, and you know you're going to hit the best of everything, which is really cool. So hats off to Gary, MaggieValleyRides.com. Guy's really a lifesaver. Can't say enough about him. What a great guy. So Sniffty Dugan signing off. Remember, guys, take that trip. We're not getting any younger. I don't care if you're 30 years old or you're 60, 70 years old. If you've never been out to Sturgis, you've never been to Maggie Valley, you got to do it. It's Blue Ridge Parkway, really, it was just, you can tell by that I'm talking about it. I just can't say enough about it. It really was that cool. So once again, we're signing off. Be safe out there. Pay attention. See you later.